Sentencing Bailey, Judge Keith Barnes praised the statements from her brothers in court this morning.
I felt it had a very, very compassionate tone toward you, and yet there was accountability, and yet there was the love and the things that your parents taught your family, and that came out, and that should have come out, and I appreciate hearing that.
Judge Barnes says he hopes that there can be amending of fences for the children, grandchildren, and other loved ones. In addition to the life sentences, Bailey was also sentenced to 0 to 5 years for aggravated assault. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story from ABC News, TikTok is one step closer to coming under American ownership. The company has finalized a deal with new American investors to take control of around 45% of the company. ABC's Mike Dubusky says this will bring a years-long saga to an end.
Talk of a TikTok ban started back in 2020 under the first Trump administration, with the president signing an executive order aimed at forcing the sale of TikTok to an American buyer. That order stalled in the courts, but last year Congress passed a bipartisan piece of legislation aimed at doing the same thing and giving TikTok a few months to find a buyer. It took a few extensions, but eventually they did, in the form of a new U.S. joint venture made up of Oracle, Silver Lake Partners, and several others. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
TikTok CEO expects the process to take a few weeks. Other national stories KSL is following. Does it seem to you that everyone you come in contact with these days is sick?
Chills, muscle aches, sneezing, respiratory issues. Welcome to cold and flu season, just in time for Christmas. According to data from Walgreens provided exclusively to Good Morning America, demand for over-the-counter cold medicines and at-home flu and COVID tests have jumped 61% over the past 2 weeks. New York is dealing with some of the country's highest numbers. The State Department of Health cites nearly 1,400 flu hospitalizations statewide this week.
That is ABC's Sherry Preston taking a look at your money at this moment. The Dow is up by 260 points, more than 0.5%, sitting at 48,207. S&P is up by 61, and the NASDAQ it's up by 275 points. That's about 1.25%. Traffic and weather, it's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. What's going on, Michelle?
Looking pretty good out there, Maria. Overall, I-15 running smoothly. I do have one ongoing trouble spot, though. This is the construction zone between Riverdale and Roy as you're headed southbound with lane restrictions. Try UTA and get more done while you ride. Games, work, books, shows. You'll be too busy to notice all the traffic you're missing. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Expecting to hit a high of 61, so sort of warm today. Back down into the 50s, 50 for tomorrow's high, and a 60% chance of showers tomorrow, 70% chance on Sunday. Right now, 59 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. You've heard me talk now for years about the Connecticut soft water system that we have in our home. As we head into the colder weather, if you're dealing with dry and itchy skin, do you notice your skin is cracking? It's uncomfortable and the lotion doesn't seem to give you the relief you need? Hard water may be a hidden contributor to that pain and discomfort of dry, itchy skin. I've got Monty here from Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer and an expert in overcoming challenges with hard water water here in Utah.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. When you shower in hard water, the minerals don't rinse away completely, forming a film on your skin, leaving you feeling tight, dry, and constantly itching.
So the hard water minerals are essentially leaving a sticky residue on my body and even in my hair?
Exactly. Kinetico removes the minerals before they touch your skin, leaving you feeling silky, smooth, and comfortable.
Do what I did and stop buying expensive lotions and start treating the source of the problem. Find out how soft your water could be at softwaterutah.com.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Relief for millions of Americans who rely on prescription drugs could soon be coming, thanks to a new deal reached between the Trump administration and several large drug companies. Today, the president announced the deal, saying Americans have been paying some of the highest prescription prices in the world, and that it's time for that to stop.
I'm thrilled to be joined by the leaders of 9 of the world's largest pharmaceutical manufacturers, all very big names, celebrities in their own right, very, very powerful people, and they head some of the most admired companies anywhere in the world. It's a great group. To announce that they've agreed to offer many of their flagship drugs, really all of their flagship drugs, at heavily discounted, most favored nations prices. In other words, whatever the drug sells for in the world, whatever the lowest number is, if it's Germany, if it's in UK, anywhere, we will match that price. Right now, sometimes it's 10 times higher. We've been laughed at and scoffed at for years.
The agreements announced today follow those made with 5 drug makers earlier this year, including 2 manufacturers of major weight loss drugs. The president sharing some specific instances where drug prices will fall.
As an example of the price reductions we have secured through these new agreements, Santa Fe will cut the cost of its blood thinner, Plavix, from $750 to less than $16. Wow. So that's coming from $750. Think of that, $750. And that's the number one blood thinner. I don't want to know about that. I take an aspirin. To less than $16. Think of that. Bristol Myers Squibb, a great company, both great companies, will cut the price of HIV medication, Rayurtaz, from nearly $1,500, $1,500 to $217. And it will cut the cost of hepatitis B medication, Baraclude, from $1,400 to $413. Gilead will cut the hepatitis C medication, Epclusa, from nearly $25,000 to less than $2,500.
The pharmaceutical makers have also agreed to sell certain primary care and specialty medicines on the Trump RX online platform, which will be operational in January. The website will direct visitors to drug makers' direct-to-consumer channels, where their products will be available at a discount to those paying cash and foregoing insurance. The 9 companies involved in this deal have also agreed to invest more than $150 billion in new manufacturing projects and research and development in the U.S. Turning to local news now, 2 consecutive 25 years to life sentences for a St. George woman who admitted to shooting and killing her parents. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff has details.
Mia Bailey pled guilty to murdering her parents back in June. In sentencing Bailey, Judge Keith Barnes praised the statements from her brothers in court this morning.
I felt it had a very, very compassionate tone toward you, and yet there was accountability, and yet there was the love and the things that your parents taught your family, and that came out, and that should have come out, and I appreciate hearing that.
Judge Barnes says he hopes that there can be a mending of fences for the children, grandchildren, and other loved ones. In addition to the life sentences, Bailey was also sentenced to 0 to 5 years for aggravated assault. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Before issuing the sentencing, Judge Keith Barnes read a statement from one of the deceased's granddaughters.
She said, one of my last and most treasured memories with them, Grandma, Grandpa, was a simple, quiet moment. We sat on their porch together watching the sunset. That moment means a lot to me. It was the last bit of quality time I spent with them.
Mia's brother Dustin also spoke at that sentencing, reading a statement on behalf of the family. He says Mia needs to be held accountable, but he also says the system failed Mia, especially when it came to mental health.
Mia, we do need to speak to you directly and plainly. What you did ended the lives of our parents, our family, and that truth does not soften with time, explanation, or context. 2 people are gone forever because of your actions, and accountability is required. It must be serious, and it must reflect the harm that was done. At the same time, we refuse to pretend you arrived at that moment with a healthy mind, full capacity, or adequate support. You did not. You arrived there after years of severe mental illness, escalating instability, and repeated failures by systems that were supposed to intervene when it was clear you were not safe or well. Saying this does not excuse what you did. It tells the truth about what happened. Accountability does not require us to deny your illness, and acknowledging your illness did not diminish the lives that were taken. Both realities exist at the same time. We want you to understand this. The consequences we are asking for are not rooted in hatred or revenge. They are rooted in responsibility, safety, and the reality that you required structure and treatment to survive. What happened cannot be undone, but pretending you were someone you were never capable of being does not serve justice, and it does not honor our parents.
Dustin said Mia tried to get mental help before those killings.
One of the most painful truths is that Mia did try to get help. In the days before the murders, Mia voluntarily checked herself into a state-run mental health facility. She was experiencing significant psychiatric symptoms. She knew something was wrong. She sought care, and she was released after only 3 days. At the time of her release, she was still experiencing serious symptoms. She was not stable, she was not safe, and she was not adequately supported. We believe, and we say this with care and seriousness, that she should not have been discharged so quickly. That decision was another failure in a long chain of failures that left everybody vulnerable. That failure harmed Mia, and it endangered our parents.
Again, Mia Bailey has been sentenced to 2 consecutive terms of 25 years to life for aggravated murder and 1 term of 0 to 5 years for an aggravated assault charge. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs, with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
Attorneys for the man accused of shooting and killing Charlie Kirk want to have the prosecutors disqualified because of what they say is a big conflict of interest. KSL legal analyst and the co-host of Inside Sources, Greg Skordas, has more on what exactly the conflict of interest claims are from Tyler Robinson's attorneys.
That at the time of the shooting, one of the prosecutors, one of the now prosecutors, of course he didn't know he was a prosecutor, was getting texts from a family member who was at the event. And this prosecutor and his boss, Jeff Gray, the county attorney, were speaking or doing something in Davis County, and they're getting these texts, these sort of up-to-the-minute texts from someone who was at the event, very close to the event, and apparently traumatized by it. And the defense attorneys have argued in this motion that should disqualify the particular prosecutor because he had a family member there or friend. It's not clear. A lot of the motion has been redacted, who was so upset, or who arguably was so upset, that it might taint the prosecutor's ability to do his job fairly.
Well, let me just interrupt and say, didn't there's like 3,000 people who were there who would have seen it, and then like 1 million something who saw the killing online. I mean,
right. And I don't really feel like having a prosecutor who's too invested in the case is necessarily a bad thing. You know what I mean?
Now, Greg says this is an unusual motion that he doesn't think is going to succeed, but he says in death penalty cases such as this, the defense will leave no stone unturned in trying to build their case. Another question on many people's minds is how on earth Utah County will be able to gather an impartial jury. At this point, it's pretty safe to say most people have heard of the killing, saw videos of the killing, and may have actually been there to witness the shooting. So will it be possible to find a jury pool who could give Tyler Robinson a fair trial?
And the issue isn't whether somebody's there. You make a great point. When you get to picking the jury, and there'll be 12, and they'll probably have a couple alternates, so let's say 14, you want to make sure that even if they know about the case, the threshold question is, can you judge the case based on the evidence that you hear at the trial?
Right.
So, I mean, if you were there, you're probably unlikely to serve on the jury, but not absolutely excluded just because you were there. If you heard about it, of course, everybody's heard about it. So that's not a big deal. And even in Utah, when you have a venue issue, that's just the location of the trial.
Right.
And you say, we want to change a venue, you have to change the venue to another county within the same district. Utah County is in the 4th district. The other counties in the 4th district are not Salt Lake.
Is it Wasatch?
Wasatch and Juab.
Oh.
So, in other words, you're not getting a bigger jury pool.
Right.
You're getting a much smaller jury pool. There may be one other county, but those are the two that come to mind. So that's you might get people that are, up in Heber City or down in Nephi, people who have less involvement or less, at exposure to the case, but you have a much smaller jury pool to pick from.
Attorneys are expected to debate the issue at a hearing sometime next month. The deadly shootings at Brown University and MIT now thought to be connected. The suspect found deceased in New Hampshire. The latest on the investigation coming up after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Michelle?
We're looking pretty good overall, Maria, on I-15. Still looking at some ongoing delays southbound between Riverdale and Roy. And then also for drivers on SR-36, you're looking at some sizable slowdowns if you're headed southbound between Erta and Tooele. Looking for the ultimate holiday gift? That's what you get at Minky Couture, the original luxury blanket company. Use code KSL50 online and in stores to receive 50% off. Visit minkycouture.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
My friend Joey loves to use old familiar sayings.
You know what they say.
The problem is,
don't look at a gift horse, cause you can't make them drink.
He gets a lot on the mixed up.
People who live in glass houses,
here it comes,
shouldn't cry over spilt milk.
There are also a lot of sayings in the financial world, like, you'll pay lower taxes in retirement. But for many people, it's just not true. You may have done a great job saving in that 401k or IRA, but Uncle Sam is ready to grab a big portion of that money. The team at Galileo Wealth Management can help with strategies that you can start now to lower your tax bill in the future. More for you and less for Uncle Sam.
Or as they say, an apple a day is worth 2 in the bush.
Get the facts on your tax bill in retirement. Call Galileo Wealth today at 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online at GalileoWealth.com.
And remember, a stitch in time keeps the doctor away. It does, you know.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
You know, most diets will help you lose a few pounds, but Soda weight loss will help you lose years. I lost 37 pounds on the Soda weight loss program 3 years ago, and I feel younger than I've felt in decades. And it's not because of how I look, it's because of how I feel.
But you do look younger,
Thank
too.
you.
I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, and then I looked at the before and after pictures of myself and was like, wow.
It's something when you don't have to carry all of that excess weight around. And I was at a stage in my life where I didn't want to add drugs to my regimen. I wanted to reduce the number of medications I had to take. So the nutritionist at Soda Weight Loss taught me how to have a healthy relationship with food.
And it was so helpful that I could text my nutritionist anytime I wanted to for advice, which helped me learn what I needed to know so that I could keep it off. And right now, this is the perfect time to join, because if you join now, your partner joins for free. It's the perfect gift for both of you.
It's at Soda Weight Loss.
SOTAweightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. TikTok now has some new owners in the United States in its effort to stay online in the country. But as News Nation Washington correspondent Trevor Shirley reports, the new arrangement isn't sitting well with everyone.
Some are criticizing the deal, saying the new owners are too close to the Trump administration. Under the deal, 3 companies, Oracle, Silver Lake, and MGX, will form a joint venture to oversee the TikTok app in the U.S. Those 3 companies will control half of the new TikTok U.S. joint venture, with each one holding a 15% share. 19.9% of the new app will be held by TikTok's current owner ByteDance, and another 30.1% will be held by unknown affiliates of current ByteDance investors. The White House and TikTok both declined to say who those other investors are. The sale was brought about after concerns TikTok was a danger to U.S. national security. Some U.S. officials and lawmakers say TikTok is used by the Chinese Communist Party as an intelligence gathering tool. The Chinese government and TikTok have both denied that. Despite the sale, some lawmakers say the new owners are too close to the White House. For example, Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison, one of the world's richest men, is a close associate of President Donald Trump. Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren posting in part, quote, Trump wants to hand over even more control of what you watch to his billionaire buddies. Americans deserve to know if the president struck another backdoor deal for this billionaire takeover of TikTok. But the sale of the TikTok app has been a long-term goal of President Trump, who credits the app in part with helping him get reelected last year. And that sale is expected to be completed by the end of January. Reporting in Washington, I'm Trevor Shirley.
Investigators still searching for a motive today in 2 attacks connected to 2 prestigious universities. Yesterday, officials announced their belief that the deadly attacks were carried out by the same person. That suspected person located last night dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound in a New Hampshire storage unit. With more, here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
This was a multi-state manhunt, Brad, that finally ended when the suspected killer of 2 Brown University students and the MIT professor Nuno Lalero, 2 days after the massacre at Brown, was found dead in a storage locker in Salem, New Hampshire.
We got him. Shortly before 9 o'clock tonight, the FBI SWAT team executed court-authorized search warrants at a storage unit facility in Hampshire Road in Salem, New Hampshire.
Claudio Neves Valente was 48 years old, and authorities said there is no doubt that he is the killer.
But there is no question that that was his storage unit,
that he had a particular car, that we found that car because of this citizen coming forward and giving us a description of the car, and then our individual who came forward, we knew he was telling the truth because we could see it on the videotape.
They were able to track him using a combination of video imagery, license plate readers, and some good old-fashioned police work, frankly, Brad, because they've been able to establish that he rented a hotel room in Boston in late November, rented a car in Boston on December 1st. That vehicle was seen near Brown University just before the shooting there.
The person that we wanted to speak with had an interaction with this individual earlier in the day, then observed him later at that time what you just stated, and decided that he was going to encounter him and asked him why he was inside Brown.
And that same car with a different license plate was seen near the home of the MIT professor the night he was shot dead.
Originally, investigators said they believed there was no connection between the Brown University shooting and the killing of an MIT professor, but now the idea has changed, and investigators believe they were connected after all.
Turns out that the authorities had some pretty good video images of what happened in the entryway of a 3-story brick building in Brookline, Massachusetts, an upscale neighborhood just outside Boston where Nuno Lalero lived, on the first floor with his wife and 3 children. That video shows the suspect ringing the bell, Lalero answering the door, and Claudio Nieves Valente opening fire. The U.S. attorney in Boston said there is no doubt that Lalero was the intended victim.
He murdered MIT professor Nuno Lalero at Lallero's home in Brookline, Massachusetts.
And a combination of the video imagery, the placement of the vehicle, and some other technology helped police establish the link between those 2 killings. And Brad, there's more. There's some biographical coincidences, we'll call them for now, because Lalero is originally from Portugal, and so is Claudio Nieves Valente, the now deceased suspect.
What do we know about the suspect so far?
He's originally from Portugal. He had been a naturalized U.S. citizen and actually had attended Brown University and may have been pursuing a higher degree before apparently dropping out. It's not clear that he finished his studies at Brown around the year 2000.
During his time at Brown, Nieves Valente was enrolled only in physics classes. The majority of physics classes at Brown have always been held within the Barris and Hawley classrooms and labs.
He had been living, it's believed, in Miami, but in late November, authorities said he came up to New England, rented a hotel room in Boston, and rented a storage unit in Salem, New Hampshire.
He was sophisticated in hiding his tracks.
And that's where the authorities said he went, Brad, an hour after killing Professor Lalero, and effectively, it seems, had been living in the storage unit, or at least, been there for a couple of days, where he was found dead.
Now, Katursky says the investigation seemed to hit several dead ends in the beginning on these 2 cases, but it turns out they had more to go on than they let on. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. A couple who helped disarm the man accused of killing 2 officers in Tremont and sharing their story for the first time. Everyone coming together to find a solution to homelessness. We'll talk with the road home in just a few minutes. And KSL traffic, Michelle.
Looking a little slow down northbound I-15 approaching downtown.
Today, the last day in the 60s before we are plunged back down into the low 50s. A high today of 61 degrees, 50 degrees for tomorrow, then 54 degrees for Sunday. But don't worry, the 60s aren't gone. We'll be back in the 60s next week, it looks like, on Tuesday. It's 59 downtown.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In North Carolina, federal aviation investigators are on scene of yesterday's deadly crash of a Cessna small plane, killing all 7 on board, including former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle and his wife and family. The plane went down shortly after takeoff from Statesville Regional Airport. At a briefing, NTSB member Michael Graham says it's just the beginning of the investigation. Crews, though, sifting through the wreckage.
Our team was able to locate and recover the cockpit voice recorder, the CVR, one of the black boxes from the aircraft.
Investigators in Rhode Island and Massachusetts say one person is responsible for 2 shooting attacks this week connected to 2 prestigious universities. Officials have not yet provided a motive for either of the attacks. The suspect was found by apparent suicide in New Hampshire. Sales for existing homes rose in November from October, but the National Association of Realtors says the 0.5% bump was lower when compared to November of last year. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. An Amazon delivery driver has been arrested after a woman says he entered her home and sexually abused her. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
The woman, who is on hospice, says she has a lot of nurses coming and going, so she thought maybe Valerie Vasquez was a new one. Security footage shows him pacing outside her Mill Creek home without a package before entering. Once inside, the woman claims he began touching her inappropriately. Police documents say she was able to push him away before he left. He admitted to the crime to police at a later date.
Police requested Vasquez be held without bail since he is a delivery driver, claiming that he could create more victims. Other local stories KSL is following. A shelter-in-place has been lifted for the Mill Creek area, where police were searching for a driver who fled from Utah Highway Patrol and then crashed. Traffic in the area is back to normal. Salt Lake County District Attorney has determined that 2 Salt Lake City police officers who shot and killed a man last May were legally justified for using deadly force. District Attorney Sim Gill says the 2 officers fired 12 shots at Christian Allen, who had reportedly doused himself in gasoline and was holding a knife as his wife and sons were barricaded in a bedroom.
He is there. He's telling them, I'm not going to hurt you, but I'm going to make you watch and experience this, right? And he had previously also said that he wanted to do suicide by cop.
Body cam footage shows him rushing toward the officers with a knife when they fired shots. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow up by 205 points, about 0.5%, sitting at 48,156. S&P up by 60. The Nasdaq up by 272. Traffic and weather is sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Michelle Rowe.
Already looking at some slowdowns for drivers southbound I-15. The first is going to be Riverdale headed into Roy due to construction. Then a little bit of slowing at the south interchange. Other than that, southbound I-15 in good shape. Northbound also looking at some slowdowns between the Spaghetti Bowl and the 600 South off-ramp. The rescue mission of Salt Lake restores lives of homeless and hurting people by addressing the cause of homelessness and helping people to return to work. Help Rescue Mission restore lives. Donate at rescuesaltlake.org. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Good chance of showers for the weekend. 40% chance today, 60% tomorrow, and up to 70% by Sunday. Right now, 59 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Mr. Max, suiting for every important chapter of your life. Weddings, proms, new job, any celebration, mission callings, and more. Mr. Max there to suit your needs with 9 locations or MrMac.com.
10 athletes will face the toughest job interview in fitness that will push past physical and mental breaking points. You are the fittest of the fit. Only one of you will leave here with an iFit contract for $250,000.
This is when mindset comes in.
Someone will be eliminated.
Pressure is coming down.
This is Trainer Games.
Watch it on Prime Video starting January 8th.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
The KSL News Radio Movie Show comes to My Hearing Centers Tuesday from 10 to 1. But first, discover what My Hearing Centers can do for you. My Hearing Centers use advanced technology to diagnose and treat hearing loss. These comprehensive evaluations determine the best treatment options. Then enjoy lifetime support with regular check-ins, cleaning, and maintenance. Call My Hearing Centers at 801-701-1629 for details. My Hearing Centers, 8941 South, 700 East in Sandy.
Hi, I'm Lexi, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. We'll help you find last-minute gifts that don't look last-minute, even if you're still planning to propose. At Shane Company, we'll show you perfect gifts at perfect prices, in stock and ready to give. Like hand-matched diamond studs, 14-karat gold chains, or the ultimate gift, a beautiful engagement ring. We have longer store hours, so you can skip the crowds and shop when you want, or visit us at shaneco.com. Because a friend wants you to be a holiday hero. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. When tragedy struck the small community of Tremonton over the summer, one couple stepped up to make sure it didn't get any worse. In fact, the actions of the couple likely saved the lives of law enforcement officers responding to the deadly shooting of Officer Eric Estrada and Sergeant Lee Sorensen. Now the couple sharing their story. KSL5 TV's Alex Cabrero spoke exclusively with the two.
Tremonton is the kind of place where neighbors know each other.
It's an amazing community. Like, everybody greets you at the door.
That small town feel is why Sterling and Courtney Johnston moved here to raise their 3 kids.
Yeah, it's been a great move. My kids have been thriving.
But on one summer night this past August, a phone call from their kids changed everything.
He told me that he heard gunshots, and so I pretty much signaled to him, like, you need to go in the car and go.
Their kids were playing sports just a couple of blocks away. Sterling may have never driven faster, and when he got there, saw something no one should ever see.
Seen the cop lights, and by the time I seen the officers on the ground, I had got out of the car and walked up the sidewalk.
2 Tremonton police officers, Eric Estrada and Sergeant Lee Sorensen, had been shot and killed. Box Elder County Sheriff's Deputy Mike Allred and his canine Azula had also been shot nearby. That's when Sterling saw a man with a gun.
And seen him come out of nowhere and kneel on the ground. And he put the gun in his mouth and sat there for a second.
Sterling was sure that man was about to pull the trigger on himself.
I remember saying that his kids still love him, and he just kind of slumped down. And so I walked up to him, and he gave me the gun.
Sterling then gave the gun to his wife, who had run to the scene, calling 911.
I hugged him. I didn't know what else to do to detain him, and he fell to the ground and basically had his head in between my feet and just laid there. And a deputy had pulled up and drew his gun, and I pointed at him, and so he holstered and came and put him in cuffs.
The danger was over, but Sterling wasn't done just yet.
I went and laid on Sergeant Sorensen and Officer Estrada.
He says he stayed because he couldn't imagine leaving them alone.
I didn't want them to go like that. I wanted them to have love, you know. And I told him that I was sorry that it happened to him, and I just hugged him.
In a moment filled with violence, he chose love.
I said prayers for them and for their families.
The Johnstons don't call themselves heroes, but investigators say they most likely saved more lives that night.
In my opinion, God took over. I just wanted it to stop.
And for as tough as that night was, Sterling doesn't want to forget him because some people should always be remembered.
Officer Eric Estrada and Sergeant Lee Sorensen were amazing individuals, and I will try my hardest to honor their names.
It was definitely a night they will never forget, but so was the next night when the bodies of both officers were returned from the medical examiner's office home to here in Tremonton and in Logan. The Johnstons say they remember thousands of people lining the streets, hands over their hearts, waving American flags to welcome both officers home. With all the evil that had just happened, for them, it was a reminder that there is still good in the world.
What incredible strength and courage and love on the part of that couple to do that. And our thanks to KSL5 TV's Alex Cabrero for that emotional story. Last year's flu season was the roughest in almost a decade, and this year's season could be just as bad. The flu already has hit Japan, Australia, and the United Kingdom, and it has mutated. Health officials are bracing for the H3N2 subclade K variant. It's a mouthful. Pamela Gomez, epidemiologist with the Utah Health Department, says our flu season will hit in January and February.
Every year, flu viruses mutate a little bit, right? That's why it's so important to get your flu shot every season, because every year we adapt those flu vaccines to what we think will be the potentially circulating strains in the next year. So what we've seen with this new subclade K is that the flu virus has mutated enough to create a new subclade, or like a new, in lay terms, just like a slightly different virus strain. And it's still the flu and everything, but we have seen that the subclade K has caused a more severe season in other countries like Britain. We know we've seen like spikes in Japan, things like that. Currently in the U.S., there's been pockets, but overall national trends, and in Utah, we have not been seeing anything too crazy so far.
She tells KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi flu cases are anticipated to surge after winter travel and holiday gatherings.
Flu cases tend to spike more in the winter months, so like January, February. So we'll definitely see what happens, especially after the holidays when everybody's getting together, spending time indoors. That is usually when influenza cases tend to spike a little bit more. So we definitely still have to see what is in store for us for the rest of the season.
Gomez strongly suggests still getting a flu shot, even though it won't have the immunities for this subclade K. It will prevent serious illness.
It is potentially more contagious, right? So that's why there's been an increased number of cases in other countries. But fortunately, the flu vaccine can still help prevent severe illness from the flu, both because there's other strains circulating, not just subclade K, but also because even partial immunity to some of these other mutations, it can still be beneficial, and it can still reduce hospitalization, risk of hospitalization, or risk of severe illness.
And she says, don't forget the basics, because they go a long way.
So making sure that you're washing your hands regularly, cleaning the surfaces that are touched frequently, like doorknobs, handrails, things like that. And then just staying healthy, like getting enough sleep, eating nutritious food, exercising. That can all help mitigate illness and also the severity of the illness.
Pamela Gomez is an epidemiologist with the Utah Health Department. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
As you've listened to the news this year, you probably heard quite a few stories discussing Utah's homeless community. Here on Midday, we've discussed several aspects of homelessness, including causes, ways to support those who are unhoused, and several different ways to help end homelessness. If we want to find a solution, it's going to take all of us working together. Right now, the Road Home is hosting their 2025 Holiday Mediathon, bringing the community together to support individuals and families experiencing homelessness during the winter months. Helping Utah's homeless, we have a special interview today. Joining me now is Mike Young, Deputy Director of Crisis Services at the Road Home. Mike, thanks for being with me.
Thanks for having me.
So remind our listeners what the Road Home is doing right now and why we are talking to you today.
Yeah, great. Thanks so much. So we're having our annual Mediathon today to raise awareness and raise some donations and some goodwill for folks experiencing homelessness in Salt Lake County. Last night alone in our emergency shelter programs, we had close to 1,200 people staying with us. Last year, we served over 8,000 people, including 500 families. We are seeing that families right now are one of the fastest growing demographics among those falling into homelessness, along with seniors, those 64 and older. So the need is greater than ever right now, and every bit helps. The ways to give are numerous. You can call 801-819-7300. You can go to theroadhome.org, and there's a big banner on the top of the website. Or you can pay via Venmo or PayPal, going to @theroadhome in your app on your smartphone or your device. And no amount is too small. It all adds up, and it all contributes to the incredible work that's being done in this community.
Mike, describe for us the services that you provide at the Road Home.
So we provide hope. At the core of what we do is emergency shelter and housing programs. Our whole mission is aimed at getting people out of our shelter programs and back into housing as quickly and safely as possible, but doing so while building self-sufficiency skills, while making sure people have some hope and some dignity in their day-to-day lives. And we do that through a variety of different measures. We connect people to outside resources like the Department of Workforce Services, a number of different employment agencies, treatment, behavioral health, really anything that family or that individual needs to get back on their feet. We provide all of that, right? So the minute someone walks through one of our front doors, we're sitting them down and we're saying, hey, thanks for choosing us, and what can we do to get you back out there? What do you need from us? And then we patch that together and make it happen.
So how many people do you serve in like your singles program?
So we have 6 different single shelters, the smallest of which serves 65 individuals a night. That's the St. Vincent de Paul Overflow Shelter downtown. It opens at 7 p.m. and it closes at 7 a.m. every morning. And the largest is the Pamela Atkinson Resource Center in South Salt Lake, which serves right now 375 men every single day.
What have you seen this year? It's been a little bit warmer, but are you still seeing people come in and need help?
We sure are. Despite the warm temperatures, we're still turning away somewhere between 20 and 4 people a day from our single shelters. Our family programs are open. We do have capacity, so if you or someone you know needs some help, please send them our way. But on the single side, we are bursting at the seams.
So
we are still seeing people get turned away.
My apologies. What is something you'd like the community to know about the singles that you do serve?
They need help just as much as the families we serve, right? Some of the top items we need right now are underwear, especially men's large and plus sizes. We need towels, blankets, coats of all sizes, boots. Anything that you're wearing right now or using to protect yourself from the elements, the folks in our programs need those items as well.
You mentioned that you're seeing a larger number of seniors. What about the younger side?
We are seeing a lot of younger folks as well. You come through our doors each night, and we work with a number of different community partners that are specialized in youth services, like the Youth Resource Center and a number of others, and that is something that we build into our program design. Like I said, the minute someone crosses through that front door, we're assessing what their needs might be and pulling out our Rolodex, literally, and saying, okay, who are the partners that we know out in the community could provide the really specialized care that you need to get back on your feet.
Mike, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for being with me.
Thanks for having me.
That is Mike Young. He's the Deputy Director of Crisis Services at the Road Home. Helping Utah's homeless, donate to the Road Home today by going to theroadhome.org. With less than a week until Christmas, we're continuing our series on Midday, looking at how other cultures celebrate the holidays. After the break, we'll focus on Peru. But first, it's KSL Traffic, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Michelle?
Looking at a little bit of slowing, Maria. This is southbound I-15 due to construction between Riverdale and Roy. And again, at the South Interchange on the northbound side, you're also slow at the South Interchange. And then again, making your way between 2100 South and the 6 South off-ramp. Christmas time is merry and bright at the shops at Riverwoods in Provo. Come see Santa, shop, dine, and see magical Christmas lights at the shops at Riverwoods in Provo. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
You probably know if you need new windows. You hear the wind whistling. There's condensation between the panes. Maybe your heating bill's too high, but you don't want to pull the trigger because it costs a lot of money. I understand. And they understand at Advanced Window Products. After all, they've been creating custom state-of-the-art windows right here in Salt Lake for 39 years. They know what's up. That's why they offer 60-month 0% financing or buy now, pay later. You get the windows this winter for 30 to 40% less because you're buying straight from the factory. They'll build, they'll install your windows, and you don't have to pay for a year or more. At Advanced, they're committed to making your new windows affordable. And if you call now, they'll knock another $2,500 off your quote. State-of-the-art, energy-saving windows built here for Utah's changing climate. And right now, $2,500 off. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
Join KSL News Radio for a special movie show Monday, 10 to 1 at the Salt Lake NPS store at 1600 Empire Road. That is npsstore.com.
I love hosting holiday parties. The people I care about, the laughter, music, lights, the food. It truly is my favorite time of year, but parties are a lot to plan. One way I like to streamline the prep work is to order a bundle from Omaha Steaks. Omaha Steaks' lineup of favorites features legendary USDA certified tender steaks like bacon-wrapped filet mignons, top sirloin fillets, mouth-watering burgers, chicken, pork, salmon, lobster, sides, and desserts. Something for everyone at the party. Omaha Steaks has been America's original butcher since 1917 and is a family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry. Your order is also backed by a 100% money-back guarantee. Right now, listeners get an extra $35 off their order with promo code SKY at checkout. Save big on gourmet gifts and more holiday favorites with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com, and for an extra $35 off, use promo code SKY at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code SKY.
When the new year hits, every business could use a little something to stay ahead. A lift, a jump start, an edge, or perhaps a boost. Like the all-new 5-year business boost from Comcast Business. It's the certainty of a price lock for 5 years on qualifying internet bundles. Plus, you'll have the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment, so your whole team can stay connected at a great rate. And to sweeten the deal, ask about a $500 prepaid card when you add 2 lines of mobile. It's the boost your business deserves. So sign up for the 5-year business boost and get a 5-year price lock on ultra-reliable Wi-Fi. Plus, ask about a $500 prepaid card. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/22/26, new customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees. Best Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
CVS Health supports people in the moments that matter, from picking up a prescription to connecting care. With nearly 5 million daily interactions and serving 185 million consumers and 1.5 million healthcare professionals, CVS Health holds a trusted place in healthcare. By simplifying care and improving health, we're helping people get the care they need. Learn more at cvshealth.com/Investor Day.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. With less than a week to go until Christmas, we're continuing to look at how various cultures from around the world celebrate the holidays. Christmas Cultures on Midday. Today we are looking at how Peruvians in Utah celebrate Christmas. Ricardo Otiano is the Deputy Consul for Peru in Salt Lake City.
Christmas in Peru is a special celebration, like in most Latin American countries. And just like here in the U.S.,
it is an important occasion to share this time with our families. For Peruvians, food plays a central role in bringing families together during this celebration. So many people gather during the night before Christmas, and they eat and drink, most times turkey, sometimes pork, and other delicious plates, similar to how Thanksgiving is celebrated here. And when the clock strikes midnight, that's the moment when families exchange gifts under the Christmas tree, just like here, but we do it at midnight. Another difference that I have noticed is the religious importance that we give to this date. For us Peruvians, I think the celebration and the symbolism behind it, it is about Jesus Christ's birth. And in our country, you notice that more. It is more evident this is what it is about. We go to church the night before Christmas, and even though we also decorate the Christmas tree, for us, it is more important to place the nativity scene of Jesus at the center of the house. There is also a cultural syncretism between Christian beliefs and Andean heritage in the Andes area. A clear example is the Santurantikuy Fair in Cusco, which is held every December 24th in Cusco. This started in the 19th century, and it literally means in Quechua, selling saints. And this is where artisans sell religious figures and traditional nativity scenes. These works show how faith blends with local culture in Cusco. These Peruvian nativity scenes are unique because they feature Andean landscapes, traditional clothing, and the Niño Manolito, or the baby Manolito in Spanish, which is a representation of the baby Jesus with Andean features, symbolizing closeness and cultural identity for people from there. Another important expression of syncretism is the Ayacucho retablo. This is a small wooden box with doors inside of which handcrafted figures depict religious scenes, daily life, or festivities. So during Christmas in Ayacucho, where these retablos are often made, you can find them representing the nativity combined with Andean characters and traditions, showing this blend that I'm talking about of Catholic and indigenous culture. So for Peru, I would say Christmas is a very important religious celebration, but it is also a moment of family unity, cultural identity, and shared hope.
Just talk about food for a minute and what dishes you would be enjoying here.
Yeah, well, here, it's also about the food for us. We do turkey, but also some other dishes like sweet potatoes. Like I said, it's similar to Thanksgiving for us, but we do it the night before Christmas.
What about cookies and things, or sweets?
Well, we enjoy. It's like a fruit cake that we call it in Peru. We call it panetón. We also drink hot chocolate. I never understood why in Peru we drink hot chocolate because it is warm at that time of the year. Here it makes more sense. But we also drink it.
Okay. Any other special things like that you used during the celebrations?
Well, like I said, the nativity scene is very important for us. Sometimes we hide the Jesus Christ figure, and we put it, when it's midnight, we put it on the nativity scene. The kids usually do that. So I think it's a special time for families. It's part of our identity. Like I said, we also do we decorate the Christmas tree, but it's kind of a mix with our own culture.
So what is your Christmas greeting?
Feliz Navidad.
Ricardo Otignano is Deputy Counsel for Peru here in Salt Lake City. In the next hour of Midday, we'll hear more about the Christmas celebrations in Peru, and we'll really get into the food that accompanies holiday celebrations. That's coming up at 2:55. Stay with us.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
AAA says the next few days are going to be incredibly busy on the roads and in the air as Americans head over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house for the holidays. Today, a few tips to make sure that your journey is safe.
Making sure that we plan ahead, that we tell others where we're going, have somebody that knows kind of what our route is, where we're hoping to be, and then making sure that we're safe as we're driving.
The time is 2 o'clock on Friday, December 19th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, whether you're flying or driving, we'll get information to keep your travels moving smoothly. Also this hour,
I'm dreaming of a white
keep on dreaming, Bing. We'll get a detailed weather forecast for your holiday week in just a few minutes. But first, our top stories. A St. George woman who admitted to shooting and killing her parents earlier this year will serve 2 consecutive sentences of 25 years to life.
The reality is that it's not just that your parents have passed on now with an act that you committed. It's the ripple effect that so many people feel.
Judge Keith Barnes there at Mia Bailey's sentencing. Our top national story from ABC News. Russian President Vladimir Putin held a 4.5-hour marathon press conference in Moscow today.
No major headlines. He once again said that Russian forces were advancing along all front lines. He said that Russia had shown flexibility in the talks. Obviously, they're still waiting for details from the Americans about this latest form of the peace plan. There was a question from the BBC which raised question marks about the direction of Russia internally, increase in authoritarianism, which again Vladimir Putin rejected.
ABC's Ian Pannell there. The Trump administration unveiled a new agreement with 9 top pharmaceutical companies to cut drug prices for Americans today. The new agreement prices drugs at the same lower cost sold in other countries.
They've agreed to offer many of their flagship drugs, really all of their flagship drugs, at heavily discounted, most favored nations prices.
Experts caution that they are not quite sure yet how much Americans will actually benefit, and it's still not clear how much other countries may have to raise prices to make up for lower prices in the U.S. Taking a look at your money at this moment at the close, ending the week off on a positive note. The Dow up by 183 points, more than 1/4%, sitting at 48,134. S&P up by 60 points. The NASDAQ up by more than 300 points, up 1%, more than 1.25%. Traffic and weather is sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Michelle Rowe.
Looking at a fresh crash, Maria, this is eastbound on the I-215 southbound as you're approaching Highland Drive or 20th East. That is off to the right. Use some caution going through that area. And then we have slowdowns both directions on I-15 at the South Interchange. Allow a few extra minutes to get through that. Western Nut can be found in most grocery stores, mall kiosks, and the flagship store downtown. Only the freshest quality nuts, brittles, fudges, chocolate, caramels, gifts, and more. Visit westernut.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Headed for a high of 61 today. Still a 40% chance of showers, increasing to a 60% chance for tomorrow and 70% chance for Sunday. And the temperature dropping about 10 degrees tomorrow. The high only 50 degrees. Right now, 59 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
You know, most diets will help you lose a few pounds, but Soda Weight Loss will help you lose years. I lost 37 pounds on the Soda Weight Loss program 3 years ago, and I feel younger than I've felt in decades. And it's not because of how I look, it's because of how I feel.
But you do look younger,
Thank
too.
you.
I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, and then I looked at the before and after pictures of myself and was like, wow.
It's something when you don't have to carry all of that excess weight around. And I was at a stage in my life where I didn't want to add drugs to my regimen. I wanted to reduce the number of medications I had to take. So the nutritionist at Soda Weight Loss taught me how to have a healthy relationship with food.
And it was so helpful that I could text my nutritionist anytime I wanted to for advice, which helped me learn what I needed to know so that I could keep it off. And right now, this is the perfect time to join, because if you join now, your partner joins for free. It's the perfect gift for both of you.
It's at Soda Weight Loss.
SOTAweightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A record number of travelers expected to take to planes, trains, and automobiles this holiday season. All the extra folks out and about may have you feeling a little bit crazed.
Out of all the reindeers, you know you're the mastermind. Run, run, Rudolph. Randolph ain't too far behind.
Okay, too bad we can't just make like Rudolph and take to the skies in our own personal sleigh. But most of you who are traveling over the next few weeks will have a lot of company. News Nation's Tosin Fakali has this report from Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport.
AAA is predicting a record over 8 million people will fly this holiday season. It's 2.3% more than last year. And they say for the first time on record, the number of domestic air travelers flying this holiday season is the first time it's exceeding 8 million. And people are flying this season, and it's been busy here at DCA. People are catching flights despite it being more expensive. Round trip domestic flight is 7% more expensive this year. That's an average ticket costing nearly $900. That's according to AAA data based on what travelers paid when they booked their holiday trips. And airlines are also preparing for the busy travel period. American Airlines says Friday is the most traveled day with a little over 6,700 flights for the airline. The airline also says this year-end holiday period, which they say is from December 18th to January 5th. The airline also says this year-end holiday period, it expects 4 flights departing per minute. At DCA, I spoke to one passenger, and she described her baggage drop-off experience as chaotic.
It was a lot. The line was chaos. There were people backed up all the way, and the lines were kind of merging from 3 different points, so it was a lot of chaos happening and a lot of people there. I've never seen it this busy at 5 a.m. before.
And people are weighing their travel options this holiday season. AAA says it expects 89% of people traveling this holiday season will take a road trip, and they say other modes of transportation is expected to increase by 9%. At DCA, I'm Tosin Fakile. Back to you.
Here at Salt Lake International Airport, they have a few tips for passengers, including downloading the SLC Airport app, reserving parking in advance, packing appropriately, and showing up to the airport with plenty of time before your flight. Airport officials also remind travelers that there are several new eateries, 2 new lounges, and 3 sensory rooms for people who might need a little extra quiet during their travels. And if you need a little extra holiday cheer, performers will be at the airport next week with everything from jazz music to guitar players. What if you're taken to the open highway for your holiday travels instead? Benjamin Donner with the American Red Cross says it's important to be prepared and be alert.
Over the next couple weeks with Christmas and New Year's, there's a lot of celebration going on. And oftentimes we don't remain as focused as we should on safety. And over these next 2 weeks, there are estimates that project over 860 fatalities may occur. And that we just don't want to mix that with this time of celebration. We don't want to mix it any time, but especially over the holidays here.
So what are some simple things we can do to stay safe?
Well, depending on what we're doing, if we're traveling, making sure that we plan ahead, that we tell others where we're going, have somebody that knows kind of what our route is, where we're hoping to be, and then making sure that we're safe as we're driving, that we're all buckled in the vehicle. I know we talk about that all the time, but it's so critical that mere buckling while we're driving reduces that level of fatalities tremendously if there's ever an accident. And then especially over these holidays that we're talking about, making sure that we're staying sober, that if for whatever reason we're drinking, that we've planned ahead, that we have rideshare, a friend, some other method, so we're not getting behind the wheel if we're under those influences.
For those folks who are traveling long distances, maybe explain why having an emergency kit is important and maybe what should be in that kit.
Absolutely. So in the emergency kit, I always say to make sure it's customized to our own individual needs, right? If I don't have babies in the car, I'm not going to need diapers, but we want to make sure on whomever's going to be in the car that we've got water in the vehicle where we can access that. We have high protein snacks. So if for whatever reason we're stuck, we would have that food to sustain until EMS arrives. Making sure that we have a first aid kit. The simple first aid needs on the highway, being able to take care of those in the moment, very, very critical. And then as we have crazy weather that comes in at times, we want to make sure that we have that protective clothing, extra socks, a blanket, etc. Those types of things to keep us warm should that need arise if for whatever reason that we were stranded for a time. And flashlight, charger for our cell phones, and something that we've mentioned periodically, but I believe it's worth repeating, is to make sure we have a list of those primary contacts and phone numbers in the event that our cell phone died. I got thinking about that I don't memorize everybody's phone numbers anymore, but if I didn't have my phone, what would I do? If I had to borrow someone's, how would I know? And so making sure that those primary numbers are on a list somewhere in the vehicle, very, very important.
And then, Benjamin, if somebody is actually involved in some sort of emergency, what are some tips for them? I mean, what should they do?
So in an emergency, most important, stay calm, right? The more you can focus and think through it, the better the outcome every time. And so if there is a medical emergency, dialing 911 and having them on speakerphone are very important to walk you through. If CPR is needed, even first aid, if it rises to that level of an emergency, that's what they're there for. And they're incredible, having that calm voice walk you through it. But then having those supplies in the vehicle, depending on what that emergency is, we try to think through in that scenario where we're traveling. If we're in mountain areas, if we need traction devices, maybe a way to jumpstart our vehicle if needed, just depending on where we're going, think through that ahead of time and take those supplies that would be important to you and your family.
Benjamin, any final thoughts for us?
Just this is all of our responsibility. We can do everything we can to prepare, but we obviously want to be aware of those around us. And so the more that we can think about this, perhaps if there's an emergency that somebody else has, we may be the one that is able to come to their aid or help. There are all of the information on redcross.org. We have free emergency apps. I guess that was something I didn't mention. An emergency app on the phone that will tell you wherever you are, if there's emergency weather coming in, any other kinds of an emergency, it will notify you no matter where you are in the country. And then if you find yourself in an emergency, we have our first aid app as well that will walk you through step by step. All of those are free to the community, and we hope everybody downloads those and helps them and their families to be safe this holiday season.
Benjamin Donner is the executive director of the American Red Cross Central and Southern Chapter. We do have some breaking news here on Midday. The Department of Justice has begun releasing the Epstein files. It comes just hours before the deadline set forth by Congress to release the files. We are expecting to see close to 1 million documents released, so it could be a while before we really know what's in all of them. We'll have more on this story coming up at the bottom of the hour. More Midday in just 60 seconds.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
If you're dreaming of a white Christmas here in the valleys, you're going to have to keep dreaming. While it looks like we may see rain here, it's not looking very promising for snow, but there are plenty of areas around the country that will see snow. And if you're traveling for the holidays, you really need to be paying attention to the forecast. Joining me now for the travel forecast is KSL meteorologist Devin Mishuli. Okay, I've made peace with the fact that I'm not going to have a white Christmas.
I know.
Oh, but that's not going to be the case everywhere else in the region.
Yeah, there are a few spots that will probably have a white Christmas, mostly in the upper Michigan area. They'll also have kind of a couple of the storms kind of roll over the Great Lakes and give way to some snow by Christmas Day. And again, a white Christmas doesn't mean you have to have snow falling on Christmas Day. But if you already have an inch of snow on the ground outside, so when you wake up in the morning and you see an inch of snow, that's technically considered a white Christmas. We do have a big storm coming across the Pacific Northwest as we approach Christmas. So this will start to move inland around Northern California, Oregon, Tuesday night, and this will kind of continue to move northeast and eastward through Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So that's going to bring a lot of moisture with it. Majority of it for the valleys or lower elevations across the Pacific Northwest will just see heavy rain. But in the higher elevations, at least a little bit of it will be some snow. So if you want to see a white Christmas, at least anywhere across the Pacific Northwest, you just kind of have to go up.
Okay. For those people who are traveling, we know a lot of folks go to grandma's for the holidays.
Yes.
What are some of the areas that they're going to need to be aware of, whether their flights are going to be there or whether they're traveling by road?
Breaking it down kind of per day, it looks like through the rest of tonight, if people are traveling out tonight, it looks like there's a storm exiting the northeastern United States. So still a little bit of active weather there, but through the weekend, it looks to be generally quiet through central and eastern United States. Some snow does look to move through the upper Michigan area on Saturday, and it will still remain active on Saturday for the Pacific Northwest and Northern California. On Sunday, a little bit of rain and snow across the northwestern United States, primarily in Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. And there will be a nice high pressure over the eastern United States on Sunday. So that means quiet weather there. Monday, some light precipitation rolling through the Ohio River Valley and through Michigan, and then still just raining in the Pacific Northwest. So you can see the active area is going to be the Pacific Northwest. So over the next couple of days, not too bad across the rest of the United States. I think everything will kind of go smoothly if you're traveling through the central parts and the eastern parts of the United States through Christmas Day. The most active stuff's going to be on the northwestern side of the United States.
Yeah, we're still about a week out for after Christmas stuff, but any insights on what's going to happen after Christmas?
After Christmas, it looks like there's still going to be some sort of precipitation lingering through us here in Utah, throughout West Nevada, California, and most likely the Pacific Northwest, just given how the flow has been. So it does look like there will be some stuff working through this side of the United States, but I didn't see too much, at least making its way through the eastern side after Christmas.
Okay, well, it's a good thing. We can get everybody to and from safely.
Yes, just drive cautiously if you're coming through heavy rain, but it shouldn't be hopefully too bad.
All right, thanks, Devin. Nothing like snow over Cedar City. Just don't do that ever.
No,
For those mountains. I'm just saying. All right. Thanks so much. KSL meteorologist Evan Mashuli with me. And don't forget, if you don't have the KSL Weather app, you should make sure that you download it before you start your holiday journeys. It's free to download. Just go to your Apple app or Google Play Store and search for KSL Weather. After the break, we'll get some tips as you hit the grocery store ahead of your holiday feasts. But first, it's KSL Traffic, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Michelle?
Looking at a new crash, Maria, in West Valley. This is 3500 South Redwood Road, northbound lanes. 2 of the 3 are blocked. Still working on this crash at the South Interchange approaching Highland Drive, and delays both directions on I-15 at the South Interchange. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Did you know 96% of Americans lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income? And it's because they claim their benefits at the wrong time. Don't lose $111,000 in Social Security income that's rightfully yours. Learn how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits on Retirement Solutions Radio this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL. News Radio 1027.
This holiday season, step back in time to an era of true elegance. Titanic. The exhibition is now open at the Shops at Southtown in Sandy. Walk the grand staircase. See the artifacts. Feel the stories. It's the perfect outing for the family or a thoughtful gift for someone special. Now open through April 2026. Purchase tickets and ticket gift vouchers today at titanicexhibition.com. Titanic, the exhibition. Don't miss the boat.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
With Steel, batteries are included. This holiday season, give a gift that's ready to go right out of the box. For everything from cleaning up the yard to cutting up firewood, Steel tools check off the wish list and knock out the to-do list. And right now, buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for holiday deals and gift ideas. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
If you're ready to buy a home or sell a home and you're worried about the current real estate market because of what you've heard from some of your friends or family, well, we're here to tell you that you really shouldn't be worried, because now is a great time to buy and sell with our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
And here's why. Buyers have more options due to increased inventory, which gives them the power to negotiate for repairs, interest rate buy-downs, and closing cost assistance. While at the same time, sellers are still getting top dollar for their homes, with home values that are higher today than ever before. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, the current real estate market presents a win-win opportunity for both buyers and sellers.
But you still do want to make sure that you're working with a team of real estate experts you can trust that can get you some great results. And that's our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
They have helped thousands of Salt Lake City homeowners, and they're ready to help you. To get started, just go to thesternteam.com. That's thesternteam.com, or Google The Stern Team.
CVS Health supports people in the moments that matter, from picking up a prescription to connecting care. With nearly 5 million daily interactions and serving 185 million consumers and 1.5 million healthcare professionals, CVS Health holds a trusted place in healthcare. By simplifying care and improving health, we're helping people get the care they need. Learn more at cvshealth.com/Investor Day.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Emergency medical unit, respond to 102 Maple Avenue. Possible stroke victim.
When stroke occurs, you have 60 minutes to win or lose the race of your life. There are new treatments, but you must get to a hospital fast. If you suddenly feel weakness on one side, have trouble speaking, walking, or seeing, it could be a stroke. Call 911. Get to a hospital. Because how you spend the next 60 minutes could determine how you spend the rest of your life. Stroke. Know the signs. Act in time. A message from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The clock is ticking to get your holiday groceries, if you haven't already. The holiday meals next week traditionally seen as pretty large feasts, but with rising food prices, your budget might already be stretched pretty thin. Now, Utah State University is out with a list of ways to spend less and waste less. Rochelle Allen is an accredited financial counselor with USU Extension, and she joined me with some tips.
You know, a lot of it is just reducing our food waste and thinking, what do we actually need? Oftentimes we have this grandiose plan to do this wonderful meal plan and write it all out and make this menu ahead of time. And that's great when we can do that with intention. It's really helpful. But it's also important to be flexible. So we can take this a step further by reverse meal planning. And what this means is that we have a meal plan and an idea when we go to the store, but then if we see something that is on sale, then we start to build our food plan around those items. And then that we can only buy what we need that is actually missing. So for example, if chicken is on sale, then that becomes the starting point for your meals. And this just helps our budget work smarter and not harder. So that's my first tip.
Okay, what else can we do?
We love these brand new apps and things that our team looked at. So there are some apps such as Flip. This is an app that locates sales and coupons for the weekly deals based on your zip code. So that's really helpful. It keeps it all in the app. You can put the list in the app. It's really helpful and streamlined. Another great one is Supercook. Supercook is an app where you can put in the items that you have on hand, and it helps you turn those ingredients into meals. They are absolutely fantastic, and we have enjoyed giving them a trial run on our team for sure, because if we were going to suggest them, we wanted to have used them. And lastly, ChatGPT and AI are so helpful. So put in the prompts. You know, I have this, I need to do this. I would like neighbor gifts for 5 neighbors under $10 a piece, things like this. And ChatGPT will spit out quite a bit of really good information based on your prompts, and then you can tweak it from there.
All right, and then how do we avoid some of the common marketing traps that we find when we walk into the store?
We love to tell people to have a little fun money category in their budget, so that you can have a few guilt-free holiday extras. It's always fun to walk into the candy aisle and say, you know, I haven't had that candy since I was a kid. And so that way you give yourself a little bit of leeway so that you can be spontaneous and enjoy those things. So we love to have a personal allowance or a fun money category, just a little bit built into that grocery budget so that you can be flexible. It's really important that people are shopping the top and the bottom of the shelves because the most expensive items are at eye level. And then just really paying attention to your list, sticking to it, and paying attention to unit prices. This time of year, I always tell people to remember the acronym HALT, and that stands for Avoid Shopping When You're Hungry, Angry, Lonely, or Tired. And that last one I feel in my soul, especially around the holiday times.
I totally agree with you. Any final thoughts for us?
Yes, I think just being very flexible and giving yourself some grace. This is a hectic time. Things do come up at the last minute, and we don't have to have such a rigid plan that if the plan doesn't go to plan, we're still going to be okay. It's okay to give ourselves some grace during a really busy time of year.
Rochelle Allen is an accredited financial counselor with the USU Extension. And a quick reminder, as you celebrate the Christmas season, don't forget about KSL's Quarters for Christmas. It's a great program where we turn your donations into warm coats and shoes for children in our community. It's easy to make a difference. You just go online to kslquarters.com, donate what you can, and know that you're helping keep a child warm this winter. And I hope you'll join us in spreading a little comfort and a lot of kindness with KSL's Quarters for Christmas. Remember that this program, there are no administrative fees. That means all the money that you donate goes directly to the kids. And all you need to do is go to kslquarters.com. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. The Department of Justice now beginning the release of the Epstein files. Officials say it could take a few weeks to get everything out. President Trump announcing deals to lower drug prices for millions of Americans. And KSL traffic. Michelle?
A crash northbound I-15 on the right shoulder, about 7200 south, backing up the traffic as you're making your way northbound toward downtown.
Looks like a pretty wet weekend ahead. 60% chance of showers tomorrow and a 70% chance on Sunday. Right now, 59 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Justice Department has started releasing a partial batch of the Epstein files on their website. Today is the legal deadline under the Epstein Transparency Act to release the full files, but the DOJ has already signaled it won't be able to release everything today.
The files are expected to be released in batches, with hundreds of thousands of pages coming today and thousands more in the weeks ahead. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says officials need more time to redact information related to victims. Blanche confirms investigations of high-profile Democrats who associated with Epstein are ongoing, as President Trump recently directed. But Blanche says as of today, quote, no new charges are coming.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. U.S. Representative Elise Stefanik of New York announcing she is suspending her campaign for the governor's race in New York and also will not run for re-election for her House seat. Stormy weather causing hundreds of delays and cancellations in the Northeast today at the start of the holiday travel getaway. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. 2 Salt Lake City police officers who killed a man who was doused in gasoline and holding a knife won't be charged for his death. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson has more.
This happened back in May when officers responded to a 911 call from a woman who said her husband, Christian Allen, was trying to kill her and their 2 kids. They had previously filed a protective order against him. Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill says when officers broke down the doors, they saw Allen with a knife.
As Mr. Allen charged with the knife raised in his right hand, Officer Kesty also entered the kitchen, and Officer Ingersoll and Kesty fired their handguns.
12 shots were fired. They also later learned that before the shooting, Allen had gone to a Chevron station, poured gasoline on himself, and carjacked a van. Gill says police were legally justified for the shooting, and so no charges will be filed. Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
Other local stories KSL is following. Drivers will need to be aware of some closures on I-215's west side belt this weekend. The southbound lanes near North Temple will be reduced, and the I-80 airport ramps will be closed. Closures begin tonight at 10, and they will last all day Saturday until 5. Now, this is separate from the construction in that area. Crews responding to fix a pothole discovered more extensive repairs were needed. They are going to replace 6 pavement panels. A Nevada man was given 17 years in prison after he sent a Utah woman a handful of painkiller pills and she died. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
Prosecutors say Brian McMahon sent the woman only about 4 oxycodone pills, but they also contained fentanyl. And when McMahon tried to contact her to confirm she got the package, she wouldn't respond. Police say she was later found dead next to the pills, and she had taken just 1.
U.S. Attorney for Utah says this should be a warning to all of us that just 1 pill with fentanyl can kill someone. McMahon was also ordered to pay the woman's family $9,000 in restitution. Taking a look at your money at this moment, at the close, the Dow was up by 183 points, more than 0.25%, sitting at 48,134. S&P up by 59 points, and the NASDAQ up 301 points. That's more than 1.25%. Traffic and weather, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. What's happening, Michelle?
We've got a few crashes at the South Interchange, Maria, affecting traffic in both directions. The biggest delay, though, is for drivers making their way northbound I-15. You're going to see slowdowns starting prior to 7200 South in spots all the way into downtown. And then we still have crews working on this crash. This is on the South Belt. Approaching Highland Drive, we have a vehicle that has gone between the retaining wall and the guard wall, so you want to use some caution as you're going around that bend. From now through December, earn triple reward points on Rewards Visa from Cyprus Credit Union. Shop for everything on your wish list and earn points to redeem awesome rewards. Start your application today at cypruscu.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Expected to hit a high of 61 today, but back down into the 50s tomorrow, near 50 degrees, and a 60% chance of showers for your Saturday, 70% chance on Sunday. 59 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
The Utah Mammoth and Smiths are teaming up to get you to the game. With qualifying Smiths purchases, you can score single goal view tickets, hot dog and a bottle of water included for just $15. The catch? These tickets go fast. Download the Utah Mammoth app, enable push notifications, and be the first to know when new tickets are released. Shop at Smiths and snag your seat for $15. Simple. Grab the Utah Mammoth app today and watch for the next release. Tusks up.
In today's digital world, outdated technology can slow you down. You need a partner who keeps you ahead of the curve. At Les Olson IT, we help your business thrive with top-tier office technology, from copiers and IT hardware to advanced IT services and security solutions. With Les Olson IT, you get more than just products. You get solutions, service, and a team that cares. Les Olson IT, empowering businesses with the tools for success. Les Olson IT.
At BMW of Pleasant Grove, we believe that driving should be more than just a commute. It should be an experience. Feel the perfect fusion of performance, technology, and luxury with our stunning lineup of new and certified pre-owned BMWs. From the exhilarating drive of a 3 or 5 Series to the spacious elegance of an X7, experience a transparent and effortless car buying experience. Visit us at bmwofpg.com. BMW of Pleasant Grove. The ultimate driving machine is closer than you think.
The Salt Lake Chamber is Utah's voice for business. Okay, that sounds great, but what does it really mean? Well, as Utah's largest and longest-standing business association, they support and champion community prosperity throughout the state. And if you're in business, well, that's a very good thing for you. Be sure to listen to the Chamber's Speaking on Business, weekdays at 7:20, 11:55, and 5:20 p.m. on KSL News Radio.
We are watching developing news here on Midday. The U.S. Department of Justice has begun releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files. It comes just hours before the congressionally mandated deadline. There are so many files to wade through, so it could be a little while before we really know and understand all of what's in those files. In fact, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says the full release could take several weeks. Senate Minority Leader Democrat Chuck Schumer says the delay violates the Epstein Files Transparency Act, but ABC's Catherine Falder says what's being released today is a big deal.
This is all of the FBI work, all of the prosecutorial work associated with Jeffrey Epstein. That's a lot of documents. It even dates back to cases from a long time ago in Florida, for example.
He knew everybody in Palm Beach. I don't know anything about that, but I have said to Pam and everybody else, give them everything you can give them.
But just to illustrate how much information we're talking about, we know that the DOJ and FBI has 40 computers and electronic devices, 26 storage drives. They have upwards of 70 CDs of information, for example. And we know that they have so much video. Potentially, I was told by a source, terabytes of video. Wow. Now, if they're going to release all of that, they're required to. There are some exceptions. We don't know if all of that will come. But the file, the Epstein file, if you will, just the DOJ FBI Epstein file is quite vast. We're talking, just in terms of the paper, hundreds of thousands of pages, if not upwards of 1 million documents.
Is there something particular people hope to see from the release of these files?
So there's lots of questions here. And if we go back a few months ago when the Wall Street Journal reported, for example, that the Epstein files weren't going to be coming out because Trump's name was in some of them, and that the Attorney General briefed Trump on this during a meeting in the Oval Office, there's been a lot of speculation around why Trump might not want these files out and why the Attorney General, according to the Wall Street Journal, briefed him on that material. I remember I asked Trump about this around that time and asked him if the AG had briefed him, and he told me,
She's given us just a very quick briefing.
We do know, according to reporting, that Trump was well aware that his name appeared in these files. Now, it's important to point out, too, that we don't have any reason to believe at this point that there's anything criminal in those files related to Trump. Obviously, he hasn't been charged with anything. He's denied wrongdoing associated with Jeffrey Epstein, but it's led to a lot of speculation as to what could possibly be in those files that Trump doesn't want released. Remember, in July,
our memo on Epstein clearly points out that there was no client list.
DOJ and FBI said, we've done a review and we're not going to release them. Well, then, of course, that led to a big uproar.
Trump was elected, and we were given both chambers of Congress under this new idea that nobody was outside of the law.
If the government will not release the information on the most famous convicted pedophile in history, what is that message back? And I think it's horrendous.
Which led to where we are today, with Congress obviously passing this law, Trump signing it into law, and now it's led to the ultimate release of the files.
That is ABC's Catherine Falders. As we get more information on what's in all those documents, we'll be sure to bring it to you on air and online at kslnewsradio.com. Relief for millions of Americans who rely on prescription drugs could soon be coming, thanks to a new deal reached between the Trump administration and several large drug companies. Today, the president announced the deal, saying Americans have been paying some of the highest prescription prices in the world and that it's time for that to stop.
I'm thrilled to be joined by the leaders of 9 of the world's largest pharmaceutical manufacturers, all very big names, celebrities in their own right, very, very powerful people, and they head some of the most admired companies anywhere in the world. It's a great group. To announce that they've agreed to offer many of their flagship drugs, really all of their flagship drugs, at heavily discounted, most favored nations prices. In other words, whatever the drug sells for over the world, in the world, whatever the lowest number is, if it's Germany, if it's in UK, anywhere, we will match that price. Right now, sometimes it's 10 times higher. We've been laughed at and scoffed at for years.
The agreements announced today follow those made with 5 drug makers earlier this year, including 2 manufacturers of major weight loss drugs.
We would have a pill in New York that was for sale for $130, and you could buy it in Germany and France and Spain and someplace anyway. They set their own prices for $10.
The 9 companies involved in this deal have also agreed to invest more than $150 billion in new manufacturing projects and research and development in the U.S. We'll be back with more Midday in just 60 seconds.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. The other night with my wife, Dee, we saw Frozen at Hale Center Theater, and it was delightful. I have a little confession. You know the song, Let It Go? My little granddaughters sing that so much that I'm afraid I haven't fully appreciated it until I saw it performed at Hale Center Theater. The artistry of the presentation and the staging brought that song to life for me. I have become a true believer. And the puppetry at Hale Center Theater, when they bring Sven out and when they have Olaf, you are going to love it. And don't forget, they have special presentations of Frozen where you can bring the younger kids. We've already got that booked for our family. It's Frozen on the stage right now at Hale Center Theater. And of course, you've got to make sure you get your tickets for A Christmas Carol. It always sells out. And by the way, Frozen is selling out very, very fast. Go to hct.org and lock down those tickets. Get season tickets for the holidays and so much more. hct.org.
Nutrition students at USU are asking the question, are AI-generated recipes just as good as human-made recipes? Professor Stacy Bevan explains how they have studied whether the recipes work.
We had two recipe blogs, one that was developed by nutrition students and one that was AI-generated content, both that were focused on recipes. And in the survey, we asked participants who are college students to evaluate a blog. They were randomly assigned to receive one of those. And so they evaluated the blog on various characteristics, such as were the recipes friendly, easy to use, were they budget friendly, etc. And so we just made comparisons based on the participants' survey responses.
Now, Bevan tells KSL News Radio's McKenna Rodriguez, while AI can create a good recipe, some said it made the recipe less personal and human.
Overall, the blogs were rated similarly. The student-generated blog was rated slightly higher for being more budget-friendly, but overall, they were very similar. However, in the open-ended questions, participants provided comments, and that really showed kind of a broad spectrum of their views of AI, some being very positive and accepting of it, others being very negative and wanting to avoid it. And overall, just a lot of caution as the participants valued blogs and recipes that were going to have a human touch and that they were confident there were quality recipes that would turn out well.
Students have found there are drawbacks, especially when it comes to having dietary restrictions and being budget friendly. Now, I don't know that I would trust an AI recipe. Would you? Text me your thoughts at 57500. Holiday cards and letters to Santa. There is no shortage of mail around the holiday season, but in Denmark, this could be the last Christmas for Danes to get a good old-fashioned letter or card. Brad Milkey has more on the Start Here podcast.
Earlier this year, the official Danish postal service, PostNord, announced that at year-end, it will stop delivering letters. In 2026, it's going to focus solely on parcels, packages.
Markedet stiger 5-8% om året.
The market is growing 5 to 8% per year, and this means that we're laying the foundation for future growth on the packaging side.
The Danish Postal Service has been delivering mail for the last 400 years. Denmark has these iconic red mailboxes all over the country. Well, they're being dismantled. The countdown is on. Danish authorities say it's simple economics. There's simply not enough paper mail to justify the massive cost of mailing it all. Denmark has been preparing for this moment for years.
You've got mail.
There are laws in the country that all bills must be emailed. All government and corporate correspondence must forego paper. Even driver's licenses have been digitized. Some families describe receiving 50 or 60 Christmas cards in prior years. Well, this year, it's more like 1 or 2. There are concerns that some people, especially older folks, won't be ready for this transition. But the bigger story here is not that Denmark is the first European country to try this. It's that it almost certainly won't be the last. Greece has closed nearly half of its post offices in recent years. Britain's Royal Post charges more than $2 American for a single first-class stamp at this point. Germany has its famed Deutsche Post, but letters have been declining there. In fact, a big reason it's even stayed solvent this long is that it was privatized years ago, becoming part of a larger logistics company. You might have heard of DHL. In fact, if you want to send a letter in Denmark going forward, that is going to be the rule. You're going to go through private mail carriers, which likely will become more prolific and much more expensive, which means less paper mail overall. Danish children traditionally hope for presents from Julemanden, the Yule Man. He's said to live at 1 Reindeer Way, P.O. Box 2412. But next year, they might want to start asking for his email address.
Oh, what about letters to Santa? A little sad, isn't it? After the break, another look at Christmas traditions for Peruvians living in Utah. But first, it's KSL Traffic, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
Looking at delays, Maria, southbound I-15 from Ogden to Riverdale, and then again at the South Interchange Murray into Midvale. And if you're into Utah County, we're looking at delays there as well, American Fork into Pleasant Grove. The rescue mission of Salt Lake restores lives of homelessness and hurting people by addressing the cause of homelessness and helping people return to work. Help Rescue Mission restore lives. Donate at rescuesaltlake.org. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you have a drain that's clogged or backed up, after you've tried the plungers and products, the next step usually involves some kind of drain snake or cabling equipment. You see, sometimes the blockage is far enough down the line that you need special equipment that most homeowners just don't have. That's where the Drains Department at Any Hour Services can help. A drain snake can clear most blockages and get the water flowing again, and clearing blocked drains is what our Drains Department does day in and day out. So if you're a homeowner with a drain line that's clogged or backed up and you'd like one of our drain technicians to come and snake the line for you, it's only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This holiday season, KSL News Radio is spreading the warmth. Right now at KSLNewsRadio.com, you can nominate a deserving family to receive a brand new heater, courtesy of Gillette Heating and Cooling. And while you're there, don't miss a chance to win tickets to Titanic the Exhibition, the immersive experience that brings history's most iconic voyage to life. Enter today at KSLNewsRadio.com.
Join KSL News Radio and the Movie Show for a special movie show Tuesday from 10 to 1 at My Hearing Centers, 8941 South 7th East, Suite 203 in Sandy.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters and auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. With less than a week to go until Christmas, we are continuing to look at how various cultures from around the world celebrate the holidays. Christmas cultures on Midday. Today we are looking at how Peruvians in Utah celebrate Christmas. Last hour we chatted with the Deputy Consul for Peru here in Salt Lake. Now let's talk with Mariana Lucia Hauser, who's originally from Peru and now lives in Ogden.
Christmas is the whole week preparation. We always try to make a big feast and decorate for the holidays, and everybody buys gifts for everybody. And for us, it starts on the 24th. We celebrate Christmas Eve. I will say even a little bit more than Christmas. My mom or my uncle make the meat. It's usually pork for us. We do eat turkey, but my family is used to, we prefer pork. And then somebody makes a salad, somebody makes a rice dish, or a couple of rice dishes, a couple of salads, mashed potatoes, sweet and regular potatoes, applesauce. Instead of cranberry sauce, we have applesauce. We usually wait until midnight, so the 25th, right at midnight, and we do a toast, and we say what we're grateful for this year, and that we're happy to be together as a family. And then we usually put music. Sometimes we dance, and there's time to open the gifts. A lot of people say that it's pretty late, but that's how we have been doing it for years. And since Peruvians are pretty Catholic, we usually have baby Jesus, and usually somebody's designated in the house to put it in a nativity set and make a little prayer, and then that's when we usually toast.
So tell me a little bit more about your food. So you said that the meat is pork, but how is it prepared differently, or how is it prepared for your culture?
We do it's like a pork leg. It's pretty lean in some parts and kind of crispy on the outside. And my mom, and what I know from the recipe, is usually garlic, cumin, salt, pepper, a little bit of MSG, and you let the pork marinate for a couple hours, and then you put it in the oven. And then we just bathe the pork with Coca-Cola and pineapple jam, or a certain jam, so it can get all crusty and salty and sweet, and it's pretty good. That's what we do. Or sometimes we do the leaner part and we just roll it, and we do the same seasoning. And we usually do rice dishes. Peruvian eats a lot of rice. There's there's a rice dish that is made, it's called Arabic rice, and you make it with little crunchy angel hair noodles, the rice. Sometimes you can use ham, or you can use a spicy sausage, golden raisins, and it's usually light brown because you make it with Coca-Cola, and it's pretty yummy, and that's a staple. And usually applesauce and mashed potatoes. They can be sweet mashed potatoes or regular mashed potatoes, but that's the staple Peruvian dinner. And we have a thing that is also called Russian salad, which is boiled potatoes, beets, carrots, peas, sometimes corn, and a mayo dressing. And it comes a little red or purple because of the beets, and it's pretty good. And that's basically a staple. Every family is going to have at least those dishes in their table on Christmas Eve and Christmas.
And then what about dessert?
Dessert is it depends on family. My family loves millefeuille. It's that crumbly dough with whipped cream and strawberries. We have a bakery that does it. Sometimes we do ice cream because it's so hot. And we're let's do some ice cream or some fresh fruit, because we eat a lot. For us, celebrations are surrounded by food and family and big gatherings.
Any other special cultural tradition that you have that you want to tell me about?
Christmas is totally different because we don't see the snow. So we need to make it out with lots of lights and music. And we usually do a lot of fireworks that day too. They do kind of like, when they drop the ball on New Year's Eve, but they do it in national television in Peru with like Christmas carols, and they do Christmas specials, and it's like a whole party. And for us, it's about family and tradition, and always, just being with family. That's what it's all about for us. We are religious. Most of my family is. So for us, it's important to always have a nativity set and to have somebody put baby Jesus once it hits midnight on the 25th.
Yeah, she says sometimes the children even hide the baby Jesus until the clock strikes midnight, and then they place him in the manger. Our thanks to the people who have been able to speak to this holiday season about their traditions. We have covered Christmas traditions from Norway, Jamaica, the Philippines, and now Peru. Plus, we were able to find out more about Jewish Hanukkah traditions. Now, if you want to hear any of those segments again, we'll have them posted at kslnewsradio.com and on our YouTube page. Thanks so much for joining us. Jeff Kaplan is here. I'm going to be off for the holidays. Jeff, what are you having for your Christmas dinner?
I don't know, because I don't cook it, but when it shows up on the table, I'm very appreciative.
Heather, your cookies, Heather, were fantastic. I hope she's listening. Thanks for the holiday cookies.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon, 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. We're at 50.